to Vlogmas. So I am super excited. We're going to be doing Vlogmas this month, and this is our very first video, and it's a book chat. So we are going to go through all of the books I read in November in today's video. But let's start off with some holiday cheer because we're getting the house ready. Don't worry, this corner is going to be very cheerful in our next videos. But look at the holiday nails. I am super excited. This is actually holiday nail set 2. I don't know what this is, set 2. However, these are more holiday. The other one were more wintry. But anyway, let's get started with today's book chat. So for the month of November, we got like a short stack of pancakes, but that is okay. We are okay with short stacks. We love short stacks of pancakes, and we like short stacks of books as well, because that means we're reading. So today we have 4 books, and here they are, and I'm gonna go through all of them with you. Now, let's just say 50% of these books I could have passed on. Well, I'm not even gonna say 50%, because one of them didn't. We'll talk about it. The first book. All right, so this is called The Puzzle of Blackstone Lodge, and it's a Rachel Savernake Golden Age mystery, and it's by Martin Edwards. So I picked this book because I was like, oh, it would be so great if I could find like a thriller or a mystery series that I can always, pull a book or two from as I read every month. So I was like, okay, this is gonna do it for me, because it is part of like there's a Rachel Savernake book collection, and then he has like a couple others like Lake District mysteries, different fiction and nonfiction books that are not in a series, and then he has the like Harry Delvin series. Anyway, he has series. So I was like, oh, super excited. But here's the thing, I feel like I wasn't smart enough to read this one. And here's why. In order to actually, let me read the back first. Okay. In Blackstone fell, one false step can prove fatal. Yorkshire, 1606. A man vanishes from a locked gatehouse in a remote village. 300 years later, it happens again. Autumn 1930. Journalist Nell Fagan knows there's only one person who can get to the bottom of this mystery, Rachel Savernake. But someone wants Nell dead, and soon. While investigating a series of recent deaths at Blackstone Sanitarium, she goes missing too. Looking for answers, Rachel travels to lonely Blackstone Fell with its eerie moor, deadly waters, and sinister tower. With help from reporter Jacob Flint, who is determined to expose a fraudulent medium at a seance, Rachel will risk her life to bring an end to the disappearances. Okay, so here's the thing. I actually enjoyed the writing. Like, as far as reading the book, I actually enjoyed the writing. I liked reading the book. I do feel it got a little confusing because there are a couple of things going on that all tie back into this, like the mystery of this book. And I think with that and the number of characters, I was getting confused. So that was the one thing. Like, I just felt like there was a lot going on. This book has, it's 382 pages, so not terribly long, almost 400 pages, but it's a short stack book. So I will say that the writing was good, and I like that about it. And it did kind of start slow, I'll say, because there was like a lot of backstory. Like I said, there's a bunch of different things that that tie into the mystery, but I feel like that was part of the problem, because I feel like I needed a notebook and a pen, because when she solved the case, I was like, but when did that happen? Because you know how they do the wrap up and they tell you all the things that help them solve the case? I was trying to figure out where that happened. And I can't be the only one, and here's why. When you get to the end of this book, they literally have what's called, how do they call it? They call it, they call it the clue finder. So I feel like if you need a clue finder, that means your clues were buried. Like, I didn't know there were clues. So I didn't read the clue finder either, because I was just like, I'm done. But it does go through and it tells you to say like, Rachel releases the link or realizes the link, or Parados's lack of an alibi for the attacks on Vernon Murray. Like, it goes through like, this is what she solved and said happened, or this is how she got the aha moment, and it tells you where you can find that in the book. But like I said, I feel like you just have to be super smart to remember all of that, or you need to be taking notes. And though I did want like one of those whodunit mysteries, and I was thinking this would be it. It's not. And then there's like the historical part. So I was like, you have to be a history buff? Like, do I need to go and open up a history book to find out that that's what they did back in the 1500s and that's how you knew XYZ had happened? Like, no, it was too much. But like I said, the writing was really good. So if you just kind of like that who does it, the thinking mysteries, this is a good book. So like I said, I didn't hate it. The writing was good. I just felt like it wasn't a book where I would have picked up on that's the person who did it and why, because you have to remember so much that happened. Okay, so let's go to book number 2, House of Cotton. I'm going to read it to y'all first, then we'll talk. 19 years old, broken, effectively an orphan, Magnolia doesn't have much to look forward to. She feels stuck and haunted by her overdrawn bank account, by her predatory landlord, by the ghost of her late grandmother, Mama Brown. One night, while working at her dead-end gas station job, a mysterious, slick stranger named Cotton walks in and offers to turn Magnolia's luck around with a lucrative modeling job at his family's funeral home. Magnolia accepts, but despite things looking up, Magnolia's problems fatten along with her wallet. When Cotton's requests become increasingly weird, Magnolia discovers there's a lot more at stake than just her rent. Sharp as a belted knife, the sly social commentary cuts straight to the bone, revealing the aftermath of the American plantation and what it means to be poor, Black, and a woman in the God-fearing South. And this is by Monica Brashears. So I could have done without this book. It reads easy, it reads quick, and I think she does a good job, especially since there is like she writes in like the Southern accent, and I'm a Southern girl, so for me it was easy to read, but I feel like the way she writes, other people will be able to read it without being tripped up. But my issue with the book is, one, there is just too much trauma sex, and I can't deal with it. One, I don't want to see people, like, I don't need to read people getting it on, and because this was connected to trauma, it just made it worse, so I didn't care for that. I also don't think, I feel like the reason this novel is in like the suspense horror section of the store is because of the haunting of the grandmother, but it's not really like a horror thriller, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen. Like when it got to the point where I thought something really was gonna go down, the book literally ended. And I was just like, there was no like sense of urgency in the horror side of things or the thriller side of things. Like, by the time it got there, like I said, I was like, oh my gosh, something's about to go down. And then the book ended. Now, I will say I did like the ending because I just didn't want it to go a different way because of what the character had already gone through. But it just wasn't for me. Like, I'm not really into reading. There's just too much trauma in here for me. So, I don't know. The story was cool. It was weird for her to take the job in the first place because the people were a little weird. And I think that's also the thing. Like, they built up one of the characters where I thought the character was just going to snap and go off and nothing. So I feel like the other thing was that could have redeemed the book for me is if something like, I feel like I got built up for something and it never happened. So it was just sad. Like you said, poor Black and in the South, but it gave this haunting twist to it, but it just wasn't something that I needed to read because I could do without that. So there's that. The next one, this is where things got good. Like I said, 50%, well, actually 75% out. I mean, wait, no. 25% was like, I definitely could have done without. The other 25 was just, I don't know if I'm smart enough for this book, but this one, The Hacienda, and it's by Isable, Canas, and she wrote the Vampires of El Norte, which I believe I read 2 months ago, and it was one of my favorite reads. Now, I will say I do like that book better, but this book is so good. Let's read. During the overthrow, in the aftermath of the Mexican War of Independence, a young woman is certain that her wealthy new husband and his remote estate will save her, but something sinister lurks within the Hacienda's walls. During the overthrow of the Mexican government, Beatrice's father was executed and her home destroyed. When handsome Don Rodolfo Solozano proposes, Beatrice ignores the rumors surrounding his first wife's sudden demise, choosing instead to seize the security that this estate in the countryside provides. She will have her own home again no matter the cost, but Hacienda San Isidro is not the sanctuary she imagined. When Rodolfo returns to work in the capital, visions and voices invade Beatrice's sleep. The weight of invisible eyes follows her every move. Rodolfo's sister Juana scoffs at Beatrice's fears, but why does she refuse to enter the house at night? Why does the cook burn copal incense at the edge of the kitchen and mark the doorway with strange symbols? What really happened to the first Donna Solozano? Beatrice only knows two things for certain. Something is wrong with the hacienda and no one there will save her. Desperate for help, she clings to the young priest, Padre Andres, as an ally. No ordinary priest, Andres will have to rely on his skills as a witch to fight off the malevolent presence haunting the hacienda and protect the woman for whom he feels a powerful, forbidden attraction. But even he might not be able to battle the darkness. Far from a refuge, San Isidro may be Beatrice's doom. I like this book. First of all, I will say, like her other book, there was a touch of romance. And I am not a romance girl. But if you throw a romance in the middle of a thriller, I'm okay with it. And she did that here. Now, I don't necessarily like how things ended, but I love the book. So you get the haunting, you get the suspense, you get the moments when you find out what happened and why it happened, all of that. And so this book was really, really good. I highly recommend it. If you haven't read her other one, I do recommend that as well. But this is a good read, and you do get it through it pretty quickly. Now the last book. This was probably the best of them all. It's gotten a little beaten up, and it's called The Retreat, and it's by Sarah Pearse. So this one, they couldn't wait to stay here. An idyllic wellness retreat has opened on an island off the English coast, promising rest and relaxation, but the island, once the playground of a serial killer, is rumored to be cursed. But now they can't leave. A young woman is found dead below the yoga pavilion, but Detective L. Warner soon learns the victim wasn't a guest. She wasn't meant to be on the island at all. I forgot that because I didn't reread the back before I started reading it. So I forgot about that part. And they would do anything to escape. When someone else drowns, Ellen begins to suspect that there is nothing accidental about these deaths. But why would someone target the guests at this luxury resort? Ellen must find the killer before the island's history starts to repeat itself. Most came to recharge and refresh, but someone's here for revenge. I loved it. First of all, this book is super easy to read. Now, I will say there are like 99 chapters, but the chapters are like 3 pages, 2 pages, 1 pages. Like, I think the longest chapter is maybe 7 pages, and it definitely helps you get to the next point. The book does ping pong between 2 specific groups until those groups officially collide, and I absolutely loved this book. You get the mystery, you get the detective, you get the horror, you get the suspense, and literally when things started to go down and they started to put the pieces together at the end, I was floored because I was like, I didn't see that coming. I did see one thing coming. And the other thing I like about this book, it kind of leaves you with 2 cliffhangers. So I did, after reading the book, go back, and this book, or I won't say the book is a part of the series necessarily, but apparently the character, L. Warner, is in other books by this author. So I am hoping that the 2 cliffhangers that they left me on at 2 a.m. this morning will be answered in a future book, because I knew something was fishy. So just look out for that. You're going to have the mystery that they solved, which completely threw me because I did not expect that. And then you're going to have, like I said, those 2 cliffhangers that I'm super, super excited to see if they're talked about in another book. So this one was probably my favorite out of all of them. So I highly, highly recommend reading The Retreat. Now, those were the 4 books that we've read this month. You know, not a bad month. You know, every book's not going to be amazing, but we enjoyed the read. So that's all for this book chat. However, like I said, today is the first day of Vlogmas, and in my other videos, I already explained it, but if you're new here, let me tell you, Vlogmas will be 13 days of Christmas, 13 days of Vlogmas, and I'm going to vlog every other day starting today, December 1st, with the last Vlogmas video being on December 23rd. Because December 24th, because I couldn't stop on the 23rd, right? I had to give it to you up to the 24th. So stay tuned. We're going to have a video every other day between the 1st and the 24th of December. It is my first Vlogmas. I'm very, very excited. So you guys come back, see all the great videos. We're going to have decorating videos. We're going to have haul videos. We're going to be talking about snacks. There's probably going to be a trip in here. There is going to be a trip. Where we're going, I'm not going to tell you because we're going to vlog about it. But if you know me, you already know. So thank you guys. For those of you returning, thank you for coming back. For those of you who are new, stick around, stay, don't leave. Click all the buttons you need to remind yourself to come back, and I will see you in the next one.